Yo, what's good, people? Man, it's your boy Persona, Game of Persona, one half of the What's Up PlayStation podcast crew. How y'all feeling today, man? How y'all feeling, man? I hope you guys are happy, healthy, and safe, man, out here in these streets. Hope you guys are keeping yourselves safe, warm, wherever you are in the world, or cool, depending on where you are in the world. It might be hot where you at instead of cold, you feel me? Shout out to y'all, man, and welcome to episode 242 of When Persona Speaks. And yo, man, listen, It's gonna be a pretty interesting show. It's gonna be a pretty good show today, man. You already know what we're talking about. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Listen, if you're at work, I hope I could get you through your work day. If you're at home, or no, if you're on your way home from work or school, hope I could get you through your commute home. If you're at home and you're cooking dinner or doing homework with the kids or whatever, hope I could get you through your session. Listen, you might be taking a shower. I don't know. Cleanliness is closer to godliness. Listen, you might be having the marital with your significant other. I don't know. I just appreciate you putting me on. Yo, man, so big shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody here, man. Appreciate you guys, man. The Rec in the building. Shout out to you, Rec. Appreciate you, man. Magnum Strike in the building. Appreciate you, David, in the building. Who else? Yo, True GBB in the building was good. Big Hardcore Gamer, DeFloyd, Baticus, Spear, Object to Be, Kendra in the building. Shout out to Mama Kendra in the building. Miss Kendra. Shout out to Miss Kendra. Appreciate you, Mama. Who else is it? Yo, Harlem PS Gamer in the building. Mr. Polar Bar in the building was good. Ice Queen in the building. Foxing around. Austin. What's good, brother? Appreciate you, bro. Link in the building. Link, what's going on with you, bro? Tevin in the building. Kratos 99 in the building. Ramon White, I think. Yeah, what's good, Ramon? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you coming through. Who else? Harlem PS Gamer. Philip Sin in the building. Arvin Torres in the building. 8K Dual Sensible in the building. King Prel in the building. Yo, man, shout out to y'all, man. Listen, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was contemplating not doing the show today. I'll be honest with you guys. Oh, matter of fact, did I give y'all a round of applause? Round of applause for the people in the chat. Where we at? Round of applause for the folks in the chat. Big round of applause for the folks in the chat. Yo, Amon Raw 3K in the building. What's good, Amon Raw? You know what? Yo, Bird in the building. Shout out to my bro, Bird. No Cap Podcast in the building. No one wants an Xbox. It don't matter the services, the T-flops. Yo, shout out to my boy, No Cap Podcast. I mean, in the building, my boy Sick. He also does What's Up PlayStation Podcast intro. Oh, what's up? Oh, what it is, what it do. What's up? What it is, PlayStation, what's up? Jay Barry and Persona got it locked in the tuck. Saturday mornings, y'all know what's up. Yo, shout out to my bro Sick, man. That's a talented brother. Make sure you guys go support my boy No Cap Podcast, man. Shout out to my boy Sick. Yo, King 1710 in the building. What's good with you, bro? Kelvin Smith in the building. Braxton Bow in the building. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. You know, another round of applause for the folks in the chat. Another round of applause for the folks in the chat. Nels, what's going on with you, Nels? Shout out to Nels. Shout out to Schoolhouse Rocks, my boy Daryl in the building. Shout out to Wanka76. Wanka. Hello, you little Wanka. Yo, shout out to my boy Wanka in the building. Yo, I gotta be honest with you guys. I wasn't going to do the show today for two or three reasons. One, you know, and I'm not going to get too personal, but you know, what I'm doing now in my career is like I'm really, really high up there now. So work has been like really, really tiring and really stressful. I'll be honest with you guys. So like my energy is just hasn't been there. And then like so many people is like doing, you know, talking about the same thing. And, you know, I was kind of just like, maybe I should just wait or, you know, just put it off or whatever. I was kind of thinking like that too. And then the third thing was I kind of just wanted to play the game, you know, like I'm grinding in Grand Blue, trying to get this platinum. I'm playing Helldivers, trying to grind levels. I was kind of like, you know what? I kind of just want to play the game when I get off work. But I was like, you know what? No, I do want to do the show. Cause I did watch the podcast, the Xbox podcast. I did watch it. But my energy, I gotta be honest with you guys, my energy just wasn't, it wasn't there at the time. But my energy is here now. Like, you know, obviously when it comes to you guys, man, you know, I appreciate y'all that rock out with me, rock out with my channel and the show. So, you know, we're gonna have that energy. I'm a muster that energy so that I can, you know, always put on a great show for you guys and we can have a good conversation, right? Shout out, yo, Jay Gamer, what's good, bro? Shout out to Cloud Strife in the building. Cloud, what's going on with you, bro? Cloud, what material are you using today? Is it Fyra? Is it Blizzaga? Which one is it? Is it Curaga? Tell me what materia are you using today? Are you using Assess? Are you using Libra? Are you using Magic Attack +1 or plus? Are you using Magic Up? Which materia are you using today? Let me know. Shout out to you, Cloud Strife. Yo, DZA Digital, what's going on with you, bro? Appreciate you, man. He says, Persona, how does Helldivers 2 compare to Destiny? I don't think that's a fair comparison, per se, just because of what Destiny... Well, okay. The fun aspect, you know, cause I still love Destiny, even though they kind of messed up a lot when it comes to, you know, a lot of things. But I still love Destiny. It's still a very fun game. I think Helldivers is a very different experience, though. And I think, you know, because Destiny is trying to be like an MMORPG type of thing, while Helldivers is really just like a co-op mission-based game where you could play with friends or play with randoms. You know, there is no PvP or anything like that. So I don't really think it's really fair to compare the two. But in terms of fun, Helldivers is extremely fun, like very fun, especially when you're playing with your friends or playing even with randoms. Because like last night I was playing with a couple randoms. I had a lot of fun playing with the randoms. You know, I ended up making a couple of new PSN buddies. You know, yesterday playing with a couple of randoms, man. So like it's fun, man. Like the game, and then like what it is too, the gameplay is fun, is great. It's just it's addictive, man. Like it really is a great time playing Helldivers, man. So I would say if you are on the fence about getting Helldivers because you know you might not have people to play with or whatever, listen, you can play with me. You guys can listen. I'm gonna be playing Helldivers all weekend. This weekend is gonna be a Helldivers weekend. You feel me? I am gonna be streaming a lot of Helldivers this weekend, starting tomorrow into the weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. You feel me? So you know, if anybody want to come through, we run some Helldivers, man. Listen, man, I'm down. So if anybody you know is trying to play, man, let me know. Hit me up. You feel me? We could play this weekend. But I would say definitely pick up Helldivers if you can see yourself playing a horde-based co-op, a mission horde-based co-op game, shooter, third person or first person, because you can't go into first person when you aim, shooting game with a lot of bugs, a lot of automatons, and a lot of different stratagems and different type of explosions and high octane action and survivability. It's just a great thing. It's a great game. I am going to go more in depth on it in like a video or something like that, because I do want to talk about Grand Blue as well in a video and do my Siegfried build and stuff like that. But like honestly guys, like work has definitely been like really like when I say really, I mean like really stressful lately. Like a lot of meetings, a lot of you know, a lot of work, a lot of projects, a lot of things going on. Really stressful. So you know, your boy's energy just has been, but you know, we here, right? Let me see who else is here, man. Yo, Cloud said Persona, it's reflect because that's yo, Cloud Strife. Listen, Cloud Strife, you a little messy, and I love it. Don't ever change, Cloud. He says Persona is reflect because that's what Phil Spencer used during that podcast. Listen, we gonna talk. Shout out to Barry, by the way. That's the name of one of his shows. We gonna talk. Henry Heck in the building. Shout out to Henry. Yo, Jesus, what's going on with you, bro? Shout out to Jesus. See, some people will call him Jesus. That's wrong. It's Jesus. Put some respect. Shout out to my boy Jesus. Who else is here? Harlem. I said what's up to Harlem. In the name of democracy, who trying to play Helldivers? Shout out to my boy Nels. Yo, Big Daddy Double X, what's going on with you, bro? Appreciate you. Kieran in the building. Leech 1399 in the building. Nerdy Gaming in the building. Dion 78 in the building. Who else is here? Helldivers is so damn fun. That's a fact, Kendra. That's a fact. Yo, another round of applause for the folks in the chat, man. Because listen, I know there's a lot of people live right now. A lot of this spaces going on. There's a ton of different podcasts going on. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you right here with your boy Persona. And you, trust me, guys, it warms my heart. It warms my heart. I appreciate y'all. But all right, listen. Robert Evans, what's going on with you, bro? Nick's in the building. Appreciate you. Kendo, what's good? Cop Sanity, Philip K. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yo, Rob Gaming TV, what's good, man? Captain Ply in the building. Hey, Persona, Xbox so dead, it's almost sad. Nah, we're going to talk about it, man. So listen, The podcast came out, what everybody was waiting for. We waited like a whole week for this podcast. From Phil Spencer, Philip Bartholomew, Jay Spencer, and team, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond. Because there was a lot of rumors that were circulating when it comes to them going full third party, and all these games are going. People were saying Gears was going, Halo, all these crazy things was happening, right? So obviously, that stirred the pot quite a bit last week, where we had a lot of people that were doing spaces and sell, people were selling their Xbox and cursing Microsoft and mad and feeling betrayed and let down and all this stuff, which prompted Phil Spencer to put out a tweet stating that they would talk about this in detail this week, which brings us to today with the Xbox podcast, which we are going to talk about, we are going to watch together, and we are going to critique. I'm going to give my thoughts. Yo, shout out to Bari, by the way, man. 34 months as a member on the channel. Bari, big bro, I appreciate you, brother. Always, man. Shout out to my boy. And then shout out to No Cap Podcast, 29 months. Shout out to my boy, No Cap, Sick, that's my boy. Shout out to my boy Sick, man. He said, yeah. Shout out to my boy Sick, man. And then shout out to Braxton Bow for the $5 super chat. He says, really enjoy these episodes, Persona. Very interesting that Microsoft didn't outright rule out any port. Hold on, let me maximize this a little bit more. I think these first 4 are just a test. Yo, listen, I promise y'all, I promise you, I have until like 6:45 because I have something else I have to do tonight. But we gonna talk, man. I promise you, we gonna break that down. I promise. All right, man. So listen, sit back, relax, get your dinner. Your boy Persona, you are watching the When Persona Speak show. Get your dinner, get your drink, kick your feet up. We about to get into it. You understand? We about to get active. Let's get active. Yo, Forget Me Not, what's good? That is loud as shit in my ear. That shit is loud as hell in my goddamn ear. All right, let's get into it. So the podcast is here, guys. I kind of want to go straight into it. So the way we're going to do it is, because I'm sure most of you have watched it already, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to watch it together all the way through, but I'm going to stop at certain points to give my talks and critique certain things, or just give my opinion on certain things, or whatever, or whatever, right? So that's how we're going to do it, guys. And obviously, anything I do, you already know it's going to be very entertaining, very high energy. Y'all know how we do things here. Yo, Fleshy in the building. Fleshy26 says, my man Persona, what up, bro? Yo, Fleshy, I ain't seen you in a minute. Fleshy, what's good, bro? I thought you forgot about. I'm glad are you healthy, Fleshy? I'm glad you good, man. I'm glad to see you in the chat. It's been a while, Fleshy. I'm glad to see you, bro. I'm glad to see you. E-Dog, what's good? All right, man. It's a waste of your time. Go play Helldivers, yo. I'm gonna play Helldivers probably later tonight. But all right, man. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's get active. Let's watch the show, and let's get into it. Let me know how the sound is too.
Hello and welcome to the.
And we're gonna stop off the bat. Listen, you already know. Listen, when you watching my shows, when you watching my breakdowns, we gonna stop at the start. Cause look at this, these guilty, yo, they look stressed. Philip Bartholomew, Jay Spencer, my Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, they look stressed. They like, yo, I can't believe we sitting here talking about this bullshit again. They say, yo, listen, how many times do we gotta sit in front of this goddamn camera and tell y'all the same goddamn PR speak? Listen, if y'all like it, I love it. That's what they said. They say, listen, I'm getting paid $1 million to be sitting here right now. Y'all want me to talk? Shit, I'll talk. They look stressed, boy. As soon as the show started, they already closing their eyes. They praying to Jesus, bro. They talk about, listen, Lord Jesus, please let this PR speak be enough for these goddamn fools so that we can move the hell on. They praying right there, boy. I tell you, they praying. Oh, shit. All right, let's get into it. I'm just joking, guys. Let's get into it.
Official Xbox podcast. I'm your host, Tina Amini, and we have a very special episode today, as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm joined by Phil, Sarah, and Matt. Welcome. And we're going to talk about some updates at Xbox.
Yo, Sarah Bond look like, yo, I get paid $3 million a year. I don't give a fuck. Yo, she like, listen, I got the script. I got the script. My check got 6 zeros on it. Tell me what you need me to say. Hey, yo, Sarah Bond looks so unbothered, yo. She just look like she chilling. Like, look, I'm gonna let y'all know what's up. It's gonna be the PR way, but y'all gonna know what's up. All right, let's get into it.
We want to talk about game exclusivity. We want to talk about Activision Blizzard now that they're part of our portfolio, how that might be an impact on Game Pass.
Another thing I will say is, yo, Sarah Bond, she got some very nice hair. Hair looks nice.
And we want to talk about hardware too and how all of this fits into the strategy at Xbox. So where should we start, Phil?
Well, when we originally had planned for the show, starting back in December, I think we probably would have started with Activision Blizzard, maybe talked a little bit about the exclusivity with some of the news coming up, and then hardware. But we've had some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's just go.
Maybe you would have talked about the exclusivity. Phil, pull up a chair. Maybe you would have talked about it had this not come up. That's with everything circulating, that whole, everything that was going on with the FTC, CMA, the EU, and all that stuff, and the worry of like exclusive games and this and maybe you would have talked about. Come on, Phil. You was always gonna talk about it. It was just a matter of when. You was gonna take your sweet time, because you would hope to have the layoffs and all that blow over, let's be honest, and then get into all the other stuff with the business. Come on now, Phil. Come on now.
Go and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community, and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games.
You hear that deep sigh? Yo, listen, y'all got to pay attention. That deep sigh, that deep breath of like, so this is what, like, yo, that's a man that's stressed, bruh. That's a person that he's just like, yo, I can't believe we here again. About to say the same shit. It's crazy.
So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games. Not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. You
know what? I won't. You know what? I know you guys like Persona. Stop pausing the goddamn. I'm gonna let him say the whole thing and then I'm gonna talk. Hold on. Let me rewind a little bit. I'm gonna rewind a little bit. I'm gonna let him say it all and then I'm gonna talk.
Not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
So
So I might have been born at night, but I wasn't born last night, man. I wasn't born last night. What I say, I'm still one of Barry's lines. When I speak, you listen. That's why the show is called When Persona Speaks. When I speak, you listen. Now listen, I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything, or none of that. But here's my question. He says, this is something, you know what? I said this on my last show, I think last week, when I was talking about this, right? Where I said, in the console space, right now, obviously they're gonna go into like, they still care about the console. We'll get to that. I just want to talk about this specific statement only. I'm only speaking on this statement here this first statement that he said, right? last week I said in the console space, Microsoft is number 3. They've even said that themselves. Go back to the Kind of Funny interview that Phil Spencer had with Snowbike Mike and where, you know, he was saying we're not in the business of trying to out console PlayStation or Nintendo or all that stuff, right? Like, this isn't like fanboy talk, like how simple. This is fact. They're number 3. PlayStation is outdoing them 2-1. Nintendo is outdoing them 6-1, if anything, if you look at the Switch, right? Like, they are number 3 in the console market. With putting anything on a competitor's platform, you want to tap into that money and those resources because you, in the place where you're the weakest, you want to make the necessary changes to make sure that you can become dominant all around. Again, the weakest link, you got to cut that off or you got to fix that. How do you fix that? By, okay, I can't out-console Nintendo. I can't out-console PlayStation. I can buy all these different things up when it comes to like these publishers and all that, sure. But with a lot of these franchises, they are synonymous with the PlayStation or Nintendo, you know, wherever. They're not synonymous with Xbox. PC, sure. PlayStation, sure. Nintendo to a lesser degree with some of these games, maybe, sure. Or at least the potential to be, sure. He's laying it, and it's funny because like he's laying it out. Really and truly, we could have just talked about this because this is what the first 6 minutes or 5.5 minutes of this podcast. This whole conversation here could have just been this, and they could have just ended it because everything else kind of tapers off a little bit to kind of become like this. It becomes kind of like a feel good session, and I'll point that out as we go through the show. But the exclusivity talk, I feel Phil Spencer is laying out what their vision is. Obviously, you want to tap into those other markets because you want to get the money. And I think that's where Microsoft is going. I'm not saying that this it should, you know, again, and I said this last week. I agree with people where like exclusives are important and exclusives matter and things like that. I agree with that 100%. 100%, right? I'm not pushing back against that. I'm not even saying that this is something that they should do. But I'm only speaking from a perspective of what the business, and when I say the business, Microsoft, what the business is looking at when it comes to what they want to do with their future within the gaming. It starts with, I'm going to let it continue because I got another point I'm going to make, but I'm going to let him continue. That's a little snippet. We're going to keep going though.
These 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games.
Why you playing? You see, I said I wasn't going to pause, but I paused because you Philip Bartholomew J. Spencer, you're pissing me off. What? You're not going to name them? You know what? I paused too soon. My fault, chat. I paused too soon. I should have let him explain himself. My apologies. I paused too soon. My apologies. We're going to back it up. We're going to let him explain himself before we talk.
Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say?
Matter of fact, let me let him continue real quick because he's going to say something else.
If either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
Now, hold up. I shouldn't have let him talk. She asking too many questions too quickly. Slow down. Let me get there. Sweetie. I'm going to get there. But slow your roll. You got too much dip on your chip. Let me get there, baby. Listen. What? I'm sorry. Listen, I love the devs. I love the devs with all my heart and soul. You understand? I love the devs. We know this ain't going to be brand new titles. These are old games. What? Out of all of the rumors, the back and forth, the tagging of people that was doing on Twitter, I personally feel you owe the Xbox fans that much to kind of just put it all out on the table of like, yo, these are the 4 games. You know, it's this, and this. I get that, you know, these teams probably have their own rollout plans, but for what's been happening the past week or two, and the uncertainty and the anger and all the stuff, and obviously, you know, they probably, you know, they don't care to that degree, but and I appreciate them for like respecting what the devs want to do. I'm not saying that they don't, but I just feel like in this type of situation, you should have laid that out. I personally feel you should have laid that out, because now it becomes a conversation of, okay, what are the games? Not like the conversation doesn't stop. It keeps going. You know, people on Twitter are just going to keep, and I think we all have a good idea of what those games could be, because, you know, he's going to kind of like categorize what they are in a moment. But I feel like, yo, you dancing around this, man. Like, you dancing around this. Stop, man. You're dancing around it, and there's no need to. Just put it out there. Just put out whatever that is. What is it? That's just me, though. I personally feel like you should have put that out there. You should have just been like, yo, these are what the games are, guys. These are old games. These are games that are a year or two old, blah, blah, blah. You know, no cause for a panic, whatever. Like, whatever you got to do to quell the masses, I just feel like you should have put it out there, personally speaking.
Either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Well, what was the...
Why confirm? But you see what I mean? And this is why I say like, yo, you playing around. So you can confirm that, but and then even on that, I should have did this show earlier, because this show might run like 3 hours. No bullshit. What time is it? It's 5:30. All right. So you can confirm what isn't coming. At least that's, you know what? No, we're gonna do this right. Let me show you the. Let me show you the other. I bookmark some shit. Hold up, man. Hold up, man. Because you playing games, man. You playing games with me, Phil. So let's go back to what he said, right? We're gonna go back to what he said.
It'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
So my thing is this. Okay, fine, right? It's not Starfield, Indiana Jones. You know, no harm, no foul. Cool, whatever. You confirm that. So you confirm that to the fans, or to the people, but you won't confirm what they are. And obviously, you know, oh, there's this rollout plan or whatever. And I'm like, yo, these games are old, right? Obviously, it's old titles. It's not going to be anything brand new. I just don't understand all this secrecy or dancing around the point of what people are really looking for. You get what I'm saying? Right? What people really are looking for is the confirmation. You confirm these games are coming, yes, but you're not confirming what those games are. And I feel like in this type of setting, you should have confirmed that. That's how I feel. Like, personally, you should have confirmed that, right? But the other side of that, too, is, again, Phil Spencer with the double talk, man. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So he says that they're not coming. Indiana Jones and whatever's not coming. Then Tom Warren, he had an interview with Phil Spencer, and he says, you mentioned that Starfield and Indiana Jones aren't part of the 4 despite rumors, but will those ever come to PS5? Can you rule that out? So that's what Tom Warren was asking Phil. Phil says, I don't think we should as an industry ever rule out a game going to any other platform. We're focused on these 4 games and learning from the experience, but I don't want to create a false expectation on those other platforms that this is somehow the first 4 to get over the dam, and then the dam's going to open and that's everything else is coming. That's not the plan today. I also don't want to mislead customers on those other platforms. We're launching these 4 games and we're excited about it. We're excited about the announce and everything else, but we'll see what happens for our business. Guys, listen. And again, I believe in exclusives and all this, but we got to have a conversation, right? Because let's go back down memory lane. Let's go back down memory lane. So clearly, these 4 games are. You know what? Phil Spencer's gonna. You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll let Phil explain it.
Well, what was the criteria and how the team was thinking about selecting those 4 titles?
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now. Because the fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform that is reaching more players, that our games are having as much success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry. And that's not some.
Bro. Bruh. What is that? What? I'm gonna ask the chat. I'm gonna ask the chat. When you hear something like that, what does that mean to you? What he just said. Where exclusive games to one platform or to one console or whatever will get smaller within 10 years' time. And he's coupling that with announcing that 4 of their recently exclusive titles to their console are now coming to competing platforms. For me, as somebody that's kind of on the outside looking in, again, I'm not no businessman, right? I don't run Microsoft. I'm not in those meetings, right? But I'm coming at you from my perspective based upon how I'm viewing this as someone that, you know, has seen this, because we've seen this happen before. Not necessarily where it's going to a competing platform console per se, but the talking points, the PR, the doublespeak. And that's with Jim Ryan and Hermen Hulst when they were first announcing that games were going to PC. That older titles were going to PC. They announced that like 5 years ago, and it was supposed to be a test. And they saw no adverse reaction. Remember those talking points? Remember that stuff what Jim Ryan was saying? It was a test. No adverse reaction. He wants to see God of War exceed 20 million copies sold. Those type of talking points were being said by Jim Ryan and co. And now look, all live service games are day and date on PC, which that's another video that I'm gonna talk about too, because a lot of you people in this community are dumb as fuck when it comes to like, it's kind of crazy of how I'm gonna talk about it on Saturday for sure, but it really is crazy how like a lot of you like say you follow gaming and you're hardcore and you follow the news and all this, but you don't remember when they were talking about that 2 years ago of how all live service games were going to PC day one, day and date with the PS5. That's been a thing, but that's another conversation. We won't address that here. But that's what Jim Ryan was saying, and now look where we are, and that was like 3-4 years ago. And then you fast forward to now with what Phil Spencer is saying. And listen, I do agree that this is not something that they're going to go full force in. Absolutely not. But the question that I want people to ask themselves, the question I want you all to ask yourself, why test something like this in the first place? Especially the Xbox community. Really sit down and ask yourself, Because, like, I see a lot of people on Twitter touting this as a win, and now really sit down and ask yourself. Sit down. Really think and ask yourself, wait a second. Even though these are old titles, what is it that you are testing? And if the test proves to be successful, what is the logical next step? Or what will be the outcome of a successful test? That's what I really want you to sit down and ask yourself. Ask yourself that. Listen, don't kill the messenger. PlayStation dudes went through the same shit 3-4 years ago. No adverse reaction. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just letting you know what this type of talk, how I'm interpreting it. Don't kill the messenger.
Some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old. So they've been on Xbox and PC for a while.
Yo, it's like the man took a page out of Jim Ryan book. Shout out to my boy Jim Ryan, by the way. Yo, Jim, I can't wait to have you at the barbecue this summer. It's the same. Yo, it's the same talking point, man. He about to explain it. I'm gonna let him go.
A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, let's say on Xbox and PC. There's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to.
He had to add that in there. There's always growth. Growth on PC and Xbox? Because that's the case. Why are you bringing them to competing platforms? No, you're looking for that growth outside of PC and Xbox because they've plateaued on those platforms. You're trying to reach maximum. You're trying to reach the maximum potential of the game. What's the next logical step in doing that? The place where people are buying games. Listen, man.
Continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So two of them, kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities, more players to play with. I'd say two of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of size. And as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, or sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio.
Yo. Yo, everything that I said last week in the spaces, in my show, he is confirming that, bro. They want to maximize profits. If they're going to have all these studios, support all these IPs, support all these games, they are trying to maximize profits. Now, any good businessman will tell you, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So I wouldn't expect Phil Spencer to necessarily come out here and say, yeah, guys, so all our games are going to other competing console platforms day one. No, I would never expect him to do that. But what I can see here is that That is the thought process behind the scenes, and he's confirming that. They want to he just said, invest. We want, and this actually goes into another point and it kind of debunks what a lot of people are always saying about, they think because Microsoft has, they got long money, Microsoft money is long. You understand? $3 trillion is long. You understand? They got a lot of money, but that does not mean that they're going to be willing to continuously put up the cash and not see any return on that investment. No company, regardless of how much money they're making, is willing to do that. And he's confirming that. So they want to maximize their profits within the gaming sector so that they can continue to invest. So what are they going to do? I can't beat you in the console market. The competition, I can't beat the competition. I can't beat Nintendo. I can't beat PlayStation. Those fan bases are too locked in. Even with me buying these studios and buying these publishers, I still know and understand that I will never reach that maximum potential of a Nintendo or a PlayStation because of the mind share, the longevity, and the time within the industry, and how synonymous gaming is with these platforms. It would take too much money. It would take too much time. Ain't nobody got time for that bullshit. Which is why you see Xbox, or I should say Microsoft, which is why you see Microsoft moving in another direction. So, all right, so if this is gaming, right? So think of gaming as a train, right? So there's 3 trains on 3 separate tracks. They're all going to the same destination, right? That destination is the consumer, right? So if you got 3 trains all traveling to the same destination, which is the consumer, how they all get there are different. Nintendo, the way their train travels is, okay, we have some of the most established IPs within our repertoire. They are timeless. The Marios, the Zeldas, the Ice Climbers, the Kirbys. And obviously some of the newer IPs and things like that they have coming, like the Splatoons and things like that. They have a very specific niche that makes them stand out with all consumers, and this is how their train goes. Yeah, they get the third-party games and all that too from time to time. They do third-party deals with certain Japanese companies or whatever. But Nintendo's train is traveling this way. And it's still getting to that destination of you, the consumer. PlayStation is the middle track. Their train is traveling, or I don't want to say middle track, but their train is right here, right here. PlayStation has some really established IPs as well. They've also created some really great brand new IPs as well. PlayStation has a lot of third-party deals. Their partnership, the strength of their partnerships with a lot of publishers and developers makes it hard for somebody else to come in and really take over, even if they've got the cash to do so. Square Enix is a perfect example. Capcom is a perfect example. 2K or Rockstar is a perfect example. Those relationships are so strong that it would be difficult to sever such a relationship, with also PlayStation being synonymous with gaming, with having inserted themselves in a lot of different areas. Their train is going this way and still trying to get to you, the consumer. Xbox, they came in, they started good. In the 360 generation, they were really, really strong. They were building that fan base, building that repertoire, locking down first party games and all this other stuff, really competing. Their train was going this way. But then at some point, instead of it making a left turn and continuing, they made a right turn on a different track, switched tracks, and now instead of it continuing what was being successful in the 360, they've pivoted to now Game Pass, day and date, cloud gaming, and all of the other things of what you see being talked about now. But the destination is still the same thing, getting to you, the consumer. And so I think with Microsoft and how Microsoft has been moving, yeah, it's all going the same way. Listen, you got 3 trains. They all traveling 3 different ways to get to the same destination as you. And I think for Microsoft, especially what Phil Spencer's saying here, it's by any means necessary at this point. That's how I interpret this. Because again, he's not going to come out and say everything. He's going to hold some stuff behind. But I think it's a by any means necessary approach. And you hear it with what he's saying when it comes to, oh yeah, we need to have exclusivity here and 10 years from now, I don't see exclusive games being on one specific platform, or not ruling out the idea of Indiana Jones or Starfield releasing on a PS5. Not saying that it will, not saying that it would be even relatively soon after launch of the game, but the fact that that's not completely ruled out should really answer and paint the picture of what the thought process is with Microsoft when it comes to how they want to get to that consumer, you. And if that means that for me to get to you and get your dollar, I need to go to the competing platform where I know that money is going to be made, instead of me going left, I'll go right on the train track and still get to you anyway. That means no never minds to me. And I think that's that thought process. Now, again, they're not going to outright say it like that. No. Look at the actions.
And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have and to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these 4 games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good.
This the same thing. Shout out to Sean Layden. I have a lot of respect for Sean Layden, and who knows, we might even. I won't even say that. Let me. I'll say that. Shout out to my boy Sean Layden, right? He's a friend of Wups, a great guy, right? A lot of respect for him. But when we had Sean Layden on our show 2 years ago, and we were talking about the strategy behind getting people to PC, Sean Layden said the strategy, and he's even said this in interviews, like there's been interviews about this and all that stuff. The thought process is you got to go to where the gamers are to get them interested. To get them interested. And I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say that word for word. I'm paraphrasing. But again, the gist is they were putting their games on PC, or the thought process, at least initially, was to put some of their games on PC to entice people to want to go out and buy a PlayStation. Again, that didn't pan out. Obviously Sean Layden left and Jim Ryan came in, and so the plans changed, things changed. Like, we know that, right? But what the plan now morphed into is a more trickled down approach to games releasing on other platforms, or on PC when it comes to PlayStation. Fast forward to Microsoft, or fast forward to Xbox, and right now, that same talking point, that same thought process of, yeah, let's put our games here because this may entice people to want to go and buy an Xbox. No, because this immediately contradicts this statement here with what Phil Spencer's saying here. It contradicts what he said on Kind of Funny of, we know that people are not going to, with the era that we live in, people are not going to leave their libraries or their friends to go to another platform. We're not in the business of trying to out-console Nintendo or PlayStation. So this statement here of enticing people to get interested in Xbox, does that mean that the Kind of Funny statement is null and void? So are we supposed to listen to the Kind of Funny Phil? The Kind of Funny games Phil? Or are we supposed to listen to Phil today? Because both statements contradict each other. You get what I'm saying? When you really peel back the layers and think about it, it's like, but you said this here. And this is why I'm saying, it's important to be clear, concise, and just upfront. Because now it becomes a conversation of, well, what did you mean by you're not trying to out-console PlayStation and Nintendo when you were on Kind of Funny? And now he has to explain that and talk about what he meant. And then it becomes a conversation of, well, if that's the case, then what did you mean by saying, like, we can never rule out Indiana Jones or Starfield potentially being on PS5? Now he has to come and re-clarify that, because now you quell one issue, but then create 3 more. And I don't want to call it issues, but like doubt. You shut down one piece of doubt, but then there's 3 more that pop up. It has to be clear and concise. It has to. Because it will never end. it will never end.
Brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not.
Okay, fine, right? I'm glad he said that. I'm very, very glad Phil said that. Because if I was the interviewer, my follow-up question would be, okay, I hear you, Phil. Fair enough. How should, for somebody that's on a place, and let's just use PlayStation for an example, right? Because it's just easier. For a PlayStation gamer, seeing these games that are made by Xbox Studios, releasing on Xbox Studios, and it's not, it'd be different if it was 1. It's not 1. 4. How is a PlayStation gamer supposed to take this news of these 4 games releasing on their platform, but not think that more would be coming? If more aren't coming, pause, or, you know, that's not really the agenda or idea behind this, fair enough. Please explain to me what this means.
And we're going to learn.
So when you are thinking about the future and this concept,
Learn what though? These see, I wish I was an interviewer. You know, one day I'm gonna get Phil Spencer on the show. We're gonna talk, and obviously respectfully. I would never disrespect, you know, anybody. But these are the follow up questions that I would ask, because I like clarity, man. Like, I'm a blunt guy. I like people to be blunt with me. I don't really like that cat and mouse mind game bullshit. I really don't like that stuff. Annoys the shit out of me. Like, to know tomorrow. But I would ask a follow up question like, what? Learn what? What are you trying to learn by releasing something on a competing platform? What is there to learn? And again, going back to the question that I asked earlier, if it's successful, if this test is successful, what is the next logical step? What is the outcome? That is what I would want him to clarify. And obviously he wouldn't, at least not right now, because, you know, again, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. But that would be a follow-up question that I would ask, because clarity, it's important.
of live service games that can benefit from bigger audiences, new audiences. How does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show, where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's this kind of, we're really focused on a couple platforms and what's going to show up there. But our key of play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, when everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places, and how do we grow Xbox as part of that. Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all missed that. Y'all didn't hear that. Let's play that back.
You want, anywhere you want, when everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places.
More players in more places. Okay.
And how do we grow Xbox as part of that?
Now, Xbox. Now, most people would hear that and think, okay, Xbox the console. No, sir. No, ma'am. Because it's beyond the console. Like, yo, it's beyond the console at this point. Not saying the console doesn't matter, but what I hear here with what he's saying, it's not just the Xbox console, it's the Xbox publishing, Xbox Game Pass or Game Pass in general or whatever. It's all of it. The cloud, mobile, the publishing. If you're trying to grow the publishing and you're already on PC and Xbox and you try to grow that even more, what is the next logical step? I'm asking questions. I'm not assuming anything. I'm asking questions because I want clarity.
Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game
Let me get these super chats real quick. Yo, shout out to Viper Reese, man. 34 months as a member on the channel. Viper, you know I always appreciate you, bro. Rocking out with me, man, for a long time. I appreciate you, bro. He says, this ain't no advertisement for Xbox. Why go to Xbox when the game is already purchased on PlayStation? Those who want Xbox are already over there. LOL. That's what I'm saying, though. That thought process didn't even work for PlayStation. That's the point. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. Like you know, let's lay it all out on the table. Fuck it, right? Let's really have a conversation and put it all out on the table, because that's my point. If one of the most successful brands in business in the gaming industry, PlayStation, one of the biggest brands in the business, selling millions of games, millions of consoles, has a lot of mind share, some of the best games on the market. If that strategy did not work for them and they ended up pivoting to putting more things on a PC platform as opposed to pulling back, and that strategy didn't really necessarily work for them in that way. It did work for them in terms of sales, sure, to a certain degree, but getting people to buy a PlayStation, that it did not do. What was the next logical step? And that's coming from one of the most successful brands in the business. So if it failed for one of the most successful brands in the business, or no, I want to say failed, but it's not as effective. Explain. What is the next logical step? Yo, Viper, appreciate you for the super chat too, bro. He says, four of the assiest games of that. Who sees play Spider-Man, Wolverine to say I need an Xbox to play Pentiment? Fuck out of here. Yo, listen, I don't know what games they are, so I'm not gonna speak on that yet. Obviously, we know the rumors. It's strange that those would be the 4 games that they would want to test here. If those games are the games, it's weird that those would be the 4 games you would want to test. But we'll see.
Pass.
Yeah, well, to build on what Phil just said, one thing I would add, as you were talking about growth, is just that we've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years, where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing.
That's right.
And the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform. And that really has changed the way that we think about things. So in the midst of all that, I think we at First Party can come back to sort of some core principles. First, that all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day one. And third,
that's enough. I don't know, man. Like that, the day one thing, I think with the bigger titles, I feel like, again, I stand by that. Like, you know, those big AAA titles should kind of be like a trickle down method instead of it being day one, but the smaller titles can go day one Game Pass. Like, I don't know, but I'll let him finish.
third, we know that Game Pass will.
But see, he also brings up another good point, though. Matt Booty brings up a great point, right? Because Roblox, Fortnite, Minecraft, Call of Duty, what made these games so successful, obviously the gameplay and all those different stuff, you know, and you know that as well. But what also made these games so successful, and they're raking in millions and billions of dollars of money every year, part of that is its accessibility. It's on all platforms. It's everywhere. You can play Fortnite on a phone, on your PC, on an Xbox, on a PlayStation, on a Nintendo. They all are saying the same thing, but in different ways. Because it's reiterating the point of Microsoft wants to build big games that are big and pause, and are successful and is raking in a lot of cash. And I think for them, they're seeing that and thinking, yo, we can't just do this pigeonholing ourselves to these two places. We need to expand to mobile. We need to be on cloud. We need to be on, unfortunately, on our competitors' platforms.
Only be available on Xbox. So there's sort of starting points for us. As Phil mentioned, there are games today that you can play that only can be found on Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that. Kind of moving
Again, you gotta listen to what's being said, because I think Matt Booty, he let that slip up a little bit. You feel me? Where, you know what? Let's play it back.
Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that.
So games are releasing exclusively on Xbox right now today. They keep saying today. That's another word that like stood out to me this whole time I was watching this. Today, you know. For these 4 games are coming today. You know, we're looking at this today. This is today. You keep hearing that shit. You're going to hear it a couple more times throughout this thing. But then he immediately follows that up with, we also want to bring games to more platforms or more places, and we're going to continue to look at that. So that means the 4 games is just the start. And if this works out, or if you like what you're seeing, you're going to continue that? What does that mean? Can you please elaborate on that?
Kind of moving aside, though, from some of those and thinking more about what does it really mean for the player, to me, the 2 key things are cross-play and cross-save. Those things allow us to deliver on the promise of Xbox, which is play with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want, play the games you want. So that is really only possible at a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts. So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing, and I think is something that we as first party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce, you know, with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard.
Here go. Listen. Yo, I don't like how they making Sarah Bond. Like, yo, Sarah Bond is definitely she that auntie. So, like, you know how, like, your mom, she may, like, piss you off or she may do something, but auntie come around and, you know, it's a good time with auntie, and auntie gonna buy you this, and, you know, you go to auntie house and you can stay up late, and, you know, you can eat ice cream for dinner and all that other shit. That's how Sarah Bond comes off to me when it comes to how she kind of interacts or the certain things that she says and interacts with certain people in the gaming community. That auntie. We're like, oh, you know, the boys, they going, you know, the guys, they going to say all the main stuff or the sad stuff. Don't worry, your auntie got you. And that's what she about to do right here. Auntie Sarah. Aunt Sarah Bond. Aunt Sarah Bond got you. Listen, she about to drop it on you. She about to drop the feel good.
Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super, super excited to share today.
Bro. Hey, yo, listen, man. The man just got finished telling you, hey, look, these 4 kids about to go to competing platforms today, and then we might be doing some more shit later. And it's a test. But, Auntie Sarah, shout out to Aunt Sarah Bond, Auntie, she gonna come through and she gonna drop the feel goods on you. She gonna drop the cake and ice cream for dinner on you. Don't worry, guys. Auntie Sarah got you. Like, yo, what? Yo, listen, man.
And it's all part of our commitment to make Xbox, the Xbox experience.
But you know what though? I will say this about Diablo coming to Game Pass. That trickle down method. Diablo came out last summer in June. We're now in February, in the middle of February, going into March. That trickle down method like that, It works. That's good because it got its maximum sales that you're going to get. And now you put it in your service and generate more subscribers, generate more money, generate more revenue or whatever. That trickle down. That's great. That's a big announcement too. Shout out to Aunt Sarah.
Games that we build is widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy.
She slipped that in there. Yo, listen, Auntie Sarah, when you go to Aunt Sarah's house, yes, baby. Yes, baby. You can have that cake and ice cream for dinner now, baby. Oh, baby, you want to stay up till 1? Go and stay up till 1, baby. Listen, Aunt Sarah gonna make you feel good. She gonna make sure that her babies feel good. She slipped that 34 million up in there, boy. Cause listen, I'ma throw y'all a lifeline, man. That's what she said. I'm throwing y'all that lifeline. I'm throwing y'all that lifeline, man. 34 million. Now the talk of the town gonna be, oh my God, 34 million. You know how it goes in these spaces. Y'all know how it is in the spaces. I ain't gotta tell you. Y'all know how it is on Twitter. I ain't gotta tell you. That's what they gonna be riding that. They gonna be riding that wave till the cows come home. Shout out to Aunt Sarah. Yo, Barry, appreciate you for the super chat, bro. He said, hey, hater, F-Bot is the best box. Phil Spencer is the GOAT and a legend. Real talk, they could keep them for a game. Yo, shout out to my bro Barry, man. Appreciate you for the big boy $20 super duper chat, my boy. Appreciate you, bro. But let's continue. So, listen, congrats. 34 million Game Pass subscribers. But somebody had confirmed something. Well, we're going to keep going. I ain't going.
The fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us. Can you recap?
Yo, she kind of, shout out to, the interviewer kind of just glossed over that. Like, she ain't, Aunt Sarah just got finished telling you that Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass and that they got 34 million Game Pass subs. And she goes just like, right. So, Phil, can we go back? Hold up, man. Look, we got to play that again. Hold up, man. Because, why she ain't have her elaborate on that or, talk more?
Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us.
She's like, right. Yeah, so, Phil Spencer, can we go back to that? Like, bro, what? Yo, I love this. I love this podcast, bro. There's so many hidden gems in this podcast. You just got to know where to look.
Can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah, and I thought both Matt and Sarah did a really nice job of talking about what we're doing on Xbox, where we're going. If you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise that we've made on our first-party games, that you can buy our game once, you're going to get play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements to the games. I think that's a technology I'd love to see applied to more platforms. But it is this view that people are going to play Xbox in multiple places, whether it's play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, whether it's content, community, and cloud, whether it's when everybody plays, we all win. We've had different taglines, different strategy kind of words that we've used, but always with this view that Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players. Our investments in xCloud, our investments in franchises like Minecraft and now Call of Duty and other large franchises so that we learn how to build those. This has been a strategy that we've been on for, I'd say, a decade. It's not about one device. It's not about games in service of a device, but rather the devices that people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. Because really a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up, is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that will lead to the best long-term success and growth in this industry.
And my understanding just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have.
I forgot this interviewer's name. She asked that's a question I would ask. That's a really, really good question she asked right there. That was a really, really good question.
Shipped games on other platforms. In fact, realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love. And
Yo, Phil, yo, Jenna Hayes, what's good? Who else is here? Evil, formerly known as S, Mr. Eddie, Mary Wilcox. Yo, shout out to everybody. Yo, my fault, man. I'm kind of like really into it. I can't talk to him right now. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all know I really appreciate y'all too, rocking out with me, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all already know, man. But he said it again. They are the biggest publisher on PlayStation, well, one of the biggest publishers on PlayStation, biggest publisher on Nintendo, and they want to continue to create great games on that. Like, what does that tell you, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, listening to it, you hear one thing, but then, or you think one thing, but you hear another, and it's like, well, okay, well, if it's not this and it's not that, then what's this? What's that? Like, you get what I'm saying? I can see how somebody can get confused by that.
and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in an Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years, and I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years.
That's important. That's important. That's really important because it goes, that's what Phil, at least how I'm interpreting it, right? Like, this is just my interpretation and with everything that I've been saying throughout the whole entirety of the show, right? When you go full circle, what Phil Spencer says here, in my opinion, goes full circle. It's a full circle moment, right? To what I was saying at the beginning of the show when we were talking about the whole exclusivity thing, because Xbox as a console is not selling. It's again, it's getting outsold 2-1 to PlayStation. It's being outsold by Nintendo like 3, maybe 4-1 with the Switch. And probably, you know, obviously when the new Switch comes out, that's going to probably blow past it as well. Who knows, right? When it comes to the Xbox as a console, it is not as hot of an item as the other two in the competition. The way I interpret what Phil Spencer is saying here, for me personally, is if the console market is shrinking, like people keep saying, and consoles are not selling as much, right? And your console is selling even less than the best-selling consoles out there, and those consoles are even in the decline or not able to meet the expectations set by leadership. How do you ensure that Xbox, because he said earlier in the show as well, Xbox as a console, Xbox as a publisher, Xbox as, you know, a place where creators can come and create their best games. So when he's saying Xbox, and I think this is where the misinterpretation comes with Twitter Spaces, because I feel like for Microsoft, for Phil Spencer and co, I don't think he's talking about, yes, the Xbox console is in that equation. I'm not saying it's not. But I don't think when he's saying things like this, that it directly is correlating to the Xbox console. I think he's more so looking at the business. Yes, the console is important. He loves the console, whatever the case may be. That's not going anywhere. We know that. I'm not saying that their console is going away. But I think when it comes to keeping the business strong, keeping the business growing, it is beyond the console. And I think with the business of what they may potentially want to do, that involves the competition in order to keep Xbox. And again, like I said, Xbox is not just the console, it's the publishing, it's bringing new developers in and all those other things. Keeping that strong means going to the competition in the console space. That's my interpretation.
That means healthy player community, healthy creator community, and healthy business. So when we look at opportunities to allow more people to play, more people engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all kinds of devices.
So I think a lot of people think about 2023 as this incredible year for gaming. And in a lot of ways it was. There were some really amazing releases that I think we all enjoyed. But what were the signals behind the scenes that maybe indicated how we wanted to look at the future of Xbox and how we kind of keep up with the industry?
Yeah, such a good question. And I think it's, as people who care about the industry, which I assume is people who are watching this, it was an amazing year. Some great launches, some of the games that I think will stand the test of time and people will be talking about a decade from now. But it's an industry that didn't really grow.
Mario, yeah, sure. Those 4 games probably won't sell as much or sell in the millions, but I think for them, again, it's a test. It's a test. If whatever metric they set internally for those games to release on other platforms, if that metric is met, they will then continue to do that and increase, or I should say decrease, the release window of when these games have released on their platforms as opposed to releasing on the competitors' platforms. Again, I don't see them putting all their eggs in one basket out the gate, especially not in a 22-minute podcast. But you have to look at what's being said versus the vision and the actions behind it.
And what happens when an industry doesn't grow? You end up with some job eliminations, which we had. We had even our own hard decisions to make about building a sustainable business for ourselves, but in no way were we alone in that. When you think about a healthy industry, I want players who believe that they will find the best games on the platforms that they love. I want people who invest their careers in working here to feel like this is a place that they can be successful. And that really is down to being part of an industry that is growing. If you listen to Lisa Su, the AMD CEO, she'll say that AMD-powered consoles are likely to decline in 2024. I think there's an amazing set of games coming in 2024, but if we don't get to growing as an industry, the industry will struggle. And today there's really 2 choices on how do you grow the industry. Do you say I have a fixed number of players, the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players to get more money from the players that I have? Or do you think about how do I expand the business I have by finding new players and adding?
Bro. I'm sorry. I have to be extremely honest here and pretty blunt. The man is telling you what the vision is at Microsoft, bro. They keep saying it in these very intricate PR type of ways, but it all leads to the same thing being said. They do not want to be pigeonholed to a finite number of players. They want to expand that. They want more money. Where's money being made where is money being made right now? Nintendo, mobile, PC, PlayStation. You're trying to go where the money is. But they're going to test the waters first. They'll never put their eggs all in one basket. No businessman would ever do that. They're going to test the waters.
Adding those to the base of players that already play. Our focus on Xbox for the last decade has really been on that latter point of how do we make sure Xbox is growing for our players, growing for our creators, so those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong for years and decades to come.
Matt, earlier you were talking about these growing gaming communities.
How do you ensure that Microsoft is, or the Xbox or the gaming branch of Microsoft is strong years to come? You leech off the places where gaming is most successful: PC, mobile, Nintendo, PlayStation. Because all of that funnels back into the same place. And where's that same place? Microsoft's pocket, which keeps them strong, keeps them able to keep buying shit, keep doing this and keep doing that.
How they're incredibly large and comparable on such a different level when we think about console audiences. Like you mentioned Roblox, you mentioned Fortnite. So how are we're obviously thinking about our responsibility, our hardware responsibility is supporting the growth of gaming communities. How has that actually shown up for the players? Are there other games we can speak to from our portfolio?
Well, as Phil mentioned, I mean, two of the biggest ones for us, Call of Duty and Minecraft, I mean, they are driven just from the bottom up by the communities of people that play those games, which is so great. I think about it, for the player community, it comes down to where are the friends, where are the people you play with, and then equally important is where have you built up your library of games, right? Where have you invested? Where's that library? I think those two things probably are some of the biggest influences on where people choose to play and what devices they choose to play.
Yeah.
So Matt Booty says something very important. Friends, libraries, and all this other stuff. Let's refer to the sales. When you look at the sales of these consoles and the sales in gaming, where is the weakest link at? I rest my... I'm going to keep saying it throughout the rest of this show.
When we think about, on the other side, the developer side, just any game developer wants their game to find the biggest audience possible. That's just the nature of building a game. You want people to enjoy and participate.
And I think Microsoft, and I think with what Matt Booty is saying here too, like I think they understand that for something like a Call of Duty, that player base is mostly made up of PlayStation and PC. So obviously they wouldn't remove PC, but removing PlayStation from that equation does two things. One, it goes against their philosophy of what they've been saying throughout the entirety of this podcast. But also, two, it actually hurts the finances of said game. The billions that it rakes in every year for the Call of Duty, that number would be a little smaller, a little smaller. And they're not trying to go backwards with the profits; they're trying to go forwards. How do you do that? You keep those type of successful franchises right where they are and keep raking in the money like they continue to do so that they can continue to invest in more games and more studios and more this and more that and whatever else they want to do within their gaming endeavors.
Participate in what you've made. And
I
I
am
think
Panther, what
we're
up?
in a unique position to deliver on that just because we are the platform. We build hardware. We've got a first-party games group, and then we've got a system that ties that together, that brings together your friends, your progression, your achievements, all of that. And I think that's really what has contributed to the momentum behind some of these communities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at, just step back and you look at the history of the industry, we've moved from a place where it used to be that someone built and launched a game to accelerate hardware to actually the things we do with our hardware and with our platform are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all of the investments we make, the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like crossplay, cross progression, the things that we're doing with cloud. How do we actually give more options to game creators so they can have the greatest success? I think one of the fun recent examples about this is actually Palworld. You know, Palworld was able to launch, they were a game preview, they launched in Game Pass, they also simultaneously launched in Steam. The combination of those things, you know, Pocket Pair was able to have this outsized success, and it was the largest third-party Game Pass launch ever. And that's all because we give creators options on how they can launch their games. We've got subscription, we've got retail, we've got free-to-play, we've got game preview, we have the consoles, we have our experience on PC, and they...
I wish they would use, like, shout out to Aunt Sarah, right? Because, Palworld is seeing a lot of success. So, I'm definitely not trying to take anything from that. I just kind of wish they would have used a Xbox first party game as an example as well. Like, I think Starfield would have been a great example to say, hey, Starfield has saw major success thanks in part to Game Pass and, allowing Todd Howard and co to create this game and it be accessible to more players in game. I kind of wish that talking point was used for a first party title as well. Not saying you can't use Palworld because, fine, especially since right now it's exclusive to PC and PC and Xbox. So by all means gloat. I just kind of wish with the picture that they're trying to paint here, I just wish they would have used a first party title as well to point out that example of why the philosophy behind what they're doing within Game Pass and things like that is the right way to go. Because I feel like with Palworld, it's an anomaly. Where the likelihood of that happening as quickly or the turnaround time for that with another game would be very far and few in between, So yeah, the success is good. It makes everybody look good, but I think we also need to realize that games like that are an anomaly on that type of scale.
We can access all of those things. And when we step back and we just look at the performance of our platform all up, we know it's working. We're at the highest level of users on console, the highest level of users on PC, the highest level of users on cloud ever. We have double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud, places where we're enabling creators to actually reach new players beyond the console ecosystem. And that's why we're leaning into it and doing more, because we see all those signals.
So we're talking about the role that hardware plays for creators, for the games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before by nature, thousands of them by nature of those investments. And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. And we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there.
So pretty much confirming that there will be a next gen Xbox or a next gen something that, you know, from Microsoft that you'll be able to play your games on. And they pretty much confirmed that they're, you know,
is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation.
I just hope, because, you know, they going around down this path again with, you know, the biggest technical leap and, you know, most powerful console and all that jargon. I just hope this time around they are very careful with that messaging, because this generation we have yet to see the caliber of that from a first party perspective when you compare it to the competition.
Which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
And then when we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important to our community, probably to each one of ourselves as well. When you talk about library, because I want to dig in on that a little bit more. You know, as we talk about cloud in the wider entertainment industry, there's conversations about streaming. How is that impacting how I own my content that I've invested in? So what can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, you know, one of the highlights for me of being in this position was getting to stand on stage when we announced the back compat coming to Xbox One. Like, it was fantastic. People were reading the teleprompter before I could read it. Slow reader, and just feeling the energy in the auditorium as we were saying that and online. You know, one of the cues I think us as being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows and how Windows over decades has maintained software compatibility with things that are built on it. Like, I can still go back and play some of the games that I love playing on Windows from decades ago, and it will still run. And we try to bring that same view to consoles. It's harder in console because the line between what the hardware is and what the game is in consoles is traditionally, it's tighter, which makes compatibility, you end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save systems to try to keep the services up as long as we can so that people can play, is a tenet of what we are as Xbox. It's at our foundation. And when we look at future hardware generations and what we're going to support, making sure that we respect, which is the word I use, respect the investments that people have made in Xbox going forward is fundamental. And the fact that you get entitlements when you buy a game from us on both Windows and Xbox also means you have the ability to play that game across a multitude of devices, which I think furthers the compatibility of the games that you own.
Can we go back to what Xbox stands for today? I think we've pretty much covered all of the elements, but if you could break it down for me.
You know, when you play on Xbox, what we're saying is you're playing on a platform where you know the biggest games in the world are always going to be. You're playing on a platform where you get to access Game Pass. And all of the games from our incredible range of studios will always launch in Game Pass day one. And you're playing on a platform that's dedicated to you, like player-first features, cross-play, cross-save.
Listen, man, I'm going to tell you something. Aunt Sarah, I'm telling you, man. Aunt Sarah, that auntie that let you eat cake and ice cream for dinner. That's that. I'm telling you, man. They picked a good one to kind of be the voice of talking up the business. She has really good enthusiasm, and like I'm telling you, man, like, yo, she lullaby these fools. Aunt Sarah know how to lullaby these fools, man.
Cross progression, backwards compatibility, being able to play your games in your library anywhere you want because of the investments that we make in cloud gaming. And so you're playing somewhere where you're investing and you know you get to take the games forward with you and across all of the screens where you are. And I think most importantly, Xbox is a place where when you're investing in Xbox, you're investing somewhere that is dedicated to making games more successful and creators more successful so that they can invest more to bring even better experiences to you all of the time.
Yeah, just that investment in the studios is so, and we feel that as part of first party with the platform proximity. It's kind of amazing now to look out across all the studios we've got and just be reminded that we're now one of the biggest development organizations in the industry. What does that mean for players? It means that the biggest games are going to continue to come to Xbox. And this 2024, the year coming up, we've got more than 10 major releases coming up. Great stuff. Hellblade 2. We've got Diablo expansion. We've got Avowed, Ara, the Indiana Jones game. And there's more in development, which I think we're going to be able to share more about at our June showcase coming up pretty soon.
Well, I guess I should get ready.
Again, more feel good. We got more for you guys in June. See you then. The feel goods, man. They're going to keep them feel goods.
To work on that show. Well, thank you all for showing up on the podcast today, and we'll see the rest of you this June.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
Yo. Ayo, look, man. Ayo, look, man. Listen. Yeah. What do you say? I feel like when it comes to a lot of what was being said, a lot of it was, again, a lot of dancing. And this is something I said last week, man. A lot of dancing around the point. They kind of was a little direct with some of it, but then they kind of veered off. They were going down, they veered off, but they all were saying the same thing in different ways, but we're all moving towards the same goal of saying we want to reach more people. They all three said it in different ways, and they all gave reassurances of like, yeah, this, that, and third, which you should, right? Good. If these things are going to be exclusive, they should. Like, I'm not. My argument is not me saying they should go to other platforms. I'm not even trying to make that argument. I'm more so just critiquing how this information is continuously being conveyed to the fan base and to the audience, and not necessarily being as direct as possible, and more so being indirect with trying to be direct. So they're directly being indirect about the direction of Xbox, and again, Xbox isn't just the console, just in general of their gaming division. They keep saying the same thing though. We want to reach more people. How do you do that? And again, because they're already releasing things on PC and Xbox, and now they're in mobile, so that's going to grow. So, now they're going to have that fan base and a lot of people growing there. If you've got the PC market, I'll leave you guys with this because I gotta go handle some stuff in a minute. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll leave y'all with Machine XP, man. Appreciate you for the super chat. That shit loud as hell in my ear. I gotta turn that down. That shit is loud as hell in my goddamn ear. I think we already knew Indiana Jones. Shout out to Uppercase J. Shout out to you, Uppercase J. We already knew that what's the name? Indiana Jones was coming out this year. They already confirmed 2024. But I'll leave you guys with this. If you have the PC market, the Xbox consoles, and now the mobile market, which, in the grand scheme of things, you know what? Let me rephrase. I want to leave you guys with this, with something to think about. So I'll re-say it, but I just want to rephrase how I want to say it. I want to leave you guys with something to think about. The biggest gaming markets in the world is not consoles. The biggest gaming market is mobile, and then PC, and then console. So console is third in the grand scheme of things when it comes to gaming. It's mobile, PC, and then console. So console is a very small part, not very small, but a much smaller part compared to the other two when it comes to gaming. I'll leave you guys to think about this. If PC and mobile which is what Microsoft now has in terms of like, releasing a lot of their games. And then they have the console space with Xbox. If the two largest platforms or areas, PC and mobile, if you now have that under your belt in terms of being of reach, why even entertain putting games on competing console platforms? The largest markets in the industry, gaming markets, platforms that generate the most money is mobile and PC. You've just bought one of the largest publishers in the world that has a very large foothold in both of these markets. And then you have your console to fall back on to supplement whatever other revenue or profits you're looking to generate. If you have that, why put any games on competing platforms? That's what I want you to really think about. Why test the waters? Why test the waters, so to speak, with putting games on an Xbox or a Nintendo if you've already got two of the largest markets in gaming, a foothold? I'll answer the question for you. I'll tell you why, but it's something I want you to think about. I'll tell you why. They're testing the waters because they want a foothold in everything. They want to maximize their profits across the board. And if that means putting shit on other platforms, console platforms, competing platforms, and doing this as a test to see if it's worth even continuing or entertaining, they're going to do it, as you can see. And if it ends up being successful, the next logical step is what? Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me, rocking out with my channel, chilling with me on this Thursday evening. I hope I was able to make your evening a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more fun. If you was eating dinner or, working or whatever, hopefully I hope I could have made your work day go by just a little bit faster. You feel me? But I really do appreciate you guys that continue to support me, support my channel, support What's Up PlayStation Podcast, support my bro Bari and his channel. I just appreciate you guys, that support us and support me. It really means a lot. At the end of the day, guys, this is just, my thoughts. I'm not trying to attack anybody. I'm not trying to, people are entitled to feel how they feel, right? It's just my thoughts, and it's all just game and talk at the end of the day. I don't take this stuff that serious. It's all for entertainment and good conversation, and that's what I like, man. I like good conversation, like good debates, and I like to entertain, man. I like to entertain people and make people laugh and bring joy to people's lives, man. That's what I'm here for, man. But with that being said, guys, please enjoy the rest of your evening. If you enjoyed the show, please like, comment, and subscribe. And this Saturday, What's Up PlayStation Podcast, episode 153 with me and Bari. Also, if you want, you can follow me on Twitter at Persona Speaks. Also, I will be streaming a lot of Helldivers this weekend. The first stream is going to be tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock Eastern. Hopefully, you guys will come through to that. Rock out with me on that Friday evening. And shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to Uppercase J. Says, salute to you for not being super toxic. Only just a little toxic. I got to crack my jokes here and there, man. You know how I am, Uppercase J. You know how I am, bro. Shout out to you, JC. Great show, Persona. Catch you later, but enjoy your evening. Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody. All right, guys. I'm out, guys. Please be safe. And we out, guys.